Here we are, midway through the second full day, and often this is a time when sitting pretty doesn't work anymore. It's a time when tiredness, all sorts of things start showing up that you might not want to, for me anyway. Irritation at nothing, just so much stuff, so much stuff. It's like, can we stop now? We sat a lot already. A little bit of petulance, whatever it is, no matter how long you sat, we encounter these things, they show up. So I'm going to talk to you about, I'm a fan of this person, a big fan. It's David Bowie. Did you believe that? No, it's not true. I lied. No, it's Hakuin. Eikaku Hakuin. Hakuin is the great Zen master, some of whose words are even more famous than ground control to Major Tom. The words was the sound of one hand. It's Hakuin. I love Hakuin for many reasons. And he's a great artist. So when I first started looking at Zen, it wasn't as a practitioner, it was more as an artist, painter. And even in Japan, when I first went in 1970, I landed at Daitokuji Temple, huge Rinzai temple. Did I sit there? No. I looked at art. That was why I was there. I did start to sit later, but art really drew me in. And Hakuin is really an amazing artist, truly, among other things. He revolutionized Zen as well. So Hakuin was born in a small village of Hara, it's called, near Mount Fuji. My Japanese relatives came from near there too. It's not a big, it was a village he was from. But he was dissatisfied, like so many of us. Like, okay, is this it? Must be something else. But he had another thing that really got him going. He listened to a Nichiren monk talk about the 8 hot hells. The 8 hot hells. I'll just describe one of them. It's called, in this hell, the hell being Naraka, it's made of hot iron, heated by an immense fire. Beings in Naraka appear fully grown, already in a state of fear and misery. As soon as the being begins to fear being harmed, their fellows appear and attack each other with iron claws and hell guards appearing until the person is unconscious, close to death. They're suddenly restored to full health and attacks begin again. And this can go on for 500 or even 1,000 years. Does any of that feel a little familiar? Maybe. But the great thing about Buddhist hell is it's impermanent. Christian hell's permanent. But Buddhist hell is not. But Hakuin didn't like this at all. His mother was a very devout Nichiren Buddhist, and he said, I don't know about this. I don't want to go to hell, he says. What can I do? Guess I'll have to become a monk. So he did that. He started finding a way to not go to hell. That was the whole purpose for him. He read the Lotus Sutra, that was the Nichiren sex thing. We sometimes say the name of it in some of our liturgy. It's it's also the sutra that's chanted by the Soka Gakkai people. Nichiren Buddhists, of course, say it. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And if you know of Tina Turner, you know this is a big deal chant for Nichiren people. But he said after he got to be a monk and he was hanging with them and chanting and doing all this stuff, they chant the whole thing, not just the name. He says it's nothing but cause and effect. This doesn't help me at all. So he went on to find another practice. Then he came across a study of a Chinese master, Yao Tu Guan Ho, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, I probably am, who had been brutally murdered by bandits. This is a famous story where he screamed so loud he could be heard for miles away. So Hakuin said, nope, not doing that either. I could be murdered for being a monk. Not doing it. So he quit, took off the robes, started wandering, hanging out with people of literature and poetry, the marginal people. He's hanging with them. So Hakuin, in trying to avoid hell, ended up somewhere very, very different later on. And we do too. Yeah. What is hell for us? What is it today? What's hell today? Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's sticky. Oh, my mother, what'll I do about her? Oh, God, I'm such a numbnut. Knucklehead, my friend used to say all the time. You're a knucklehead. Any of the other things that we could come up with? Oh, I failed. Oh, I became too grandiose. That's a bad one. There's so many. There's so many hells, personal hells. So Hakuin has a famous painting that I didn't know was his. I read Aoyama Roshi's book, Zen Seeds. It's a great tiny little book. She's one of the very few female Roshis in Japan, and she quoted, "Welcome the Bodhisattva of hell." And I went, wow, I want to learn about that. Well, that wasn't her saying that. That was Hakuin, Mr. Afraid of going to hell, saying, welcome the Bodhisattva of hell. Yeah, welcome the Bodhisattva of hell. What can we learn? What is there to see? What's hell? Is it seeing the news? Seeing the people dying? Seeing somebody's son or daughter shot in a dollar store because they're black? Is it because we feel helpless? Is that hell? What is there to see in it? So because I'm a painter, I pay attention to painters. So there's one who's really great. She's not as great as Hakuin, in my view, but she's really great. Joan Mitchell, not Joni Mitchell, the singer, but Joan Mitchell, the abstract expressionist drunken painter. She lived a very wild life. Most people hated her as a person. She escaped from the USA to France, where they accepted her drunken wildness better than here. So she paints these amazing abstractions. They're huge, a whole wall, huge wall. She paints cypresses, for example, abstract, and they're glorious. not to everybody. My sister would say, oh, anyone can do that because they're abstract. But you feel the painting, and it's like it is chanting the sutras night and day. She somehow painted that. How'd she do that? So there's another set of paintings of hers that I found very instructive, more on the realm of Welcome the Bodhisattva of Hell. She at one point lost her painting studio and she was out. She had nowhere to be. And she only had a small notebook and some black paints, mostly a little red here and there. And she just painted, like, you can feel it, the despair, the deep, deep despair that she was feeling, having no place to be, nowhere to go, nowhere to paint, which fed her whole being. And when you sit with those paintings, they're very dark. A lot of people can't stand to look at them. They're hard to look at. But if you wait through those moments where it's hard to look at it and stay with it, you'll see something that feels like peace in the midst of it. It's really quite astonishing, but you've got to sit long enough and be right in it. Somehow, in being so 100,000,000% authentic in her anger and despair and painting it, she hit peace. Wow, pretty cool. And it's in the painting. It's not like she said this, she showed it. It's more like, the thing that maybe a lot of us come to meditation practice for, finding peace, feeling peace, deep peace. So are we really willing to go to all those places, every place? Some places are easier than others, it seems. But to go 100,000,000,000,000,000% authentic is hard. It's hard. You could even try it sometime. Just sit down, take some black crayon or charcoal and draw despair. Just get into it. Find out what comes through when you do that without holding back. It can be done. Joan Mitchell did it. Even though she wasn't a so-called good person, a lot of people didn't like her. She was a nasty drunk, they say, quote unquote. But she could get into the painting big time and into her own feelings, to her own life. Doesn't matter what other people thought. Now you can't even buy her work. It's really worth a fortune. So you just don't know what comes through. So yeah, look at Hakuin sometime when you get a chance. Look at his paintings. They're very raw. They're not pretty. There's one painting I really love that's, there are blind men with sticks and they're walking on a bridge. They're tapping on the bridge. And there's a mountain they're going to. But the end of the bridge they're walking toward has a gap. And they don't see it. It's a great painting. He used these paintings to teach people. He went back to his own little bitty village and the people were illiterate. So he taught them through painting, taught them through illustration. He's a great calligrapher, but that wasn't going to do them any good. They couldn't read it. But the drawings, paintings, his speech, urging them to wake up. So Hakuin is credited with bringing Rinzai Zen back to life. And it's said that he's done that by reintroducing the importance of doubt. Some call it the great doubt. There are a lot of forms of doubt. So, yeah, doubt. Doubt's really important. Doubt. Whenever we run into a statement where we're so sure, are we really? I'll give you an example. I recently assisted my friend in dying. We actually helped her overdose. She had ALS and was dying from it, but not fast enough. She was just really, truly suffering. So we were asked to help her. Did we all just immediately, oh, sure, we'll kill you? No problem. No, of course not. Did we think about it a lot? Yeah. Did we have doubts? Yes. Her mind was still very active and alive, creative. She could still do things if she had machine assistance. So what was she asking us to cut off? She's asking us to cut off her life, her body, the form she's been in, the activities that culminated in who she is at that moment. You don't say yes easily to anything like that. There's always doubt. There is doubt. That's a statement. Always doubt. Sometimes there isn't, I guess. What do I know? But we did doubt and still make a decision and accept the consequences of that decision. So by the end of his life, Hakuin stopped being such a hellraiser and became much more interested in helping all beings. Instead of saving his own personal ass from hell, he wanted to save all beings. He wanted to do that by bringing the Dharma and kicking your butt too if you need it. So you can see this, our Ongo board here, which I truly love. It really touches me. All the arms stretching out from that. Look at that. And all the people saying the things that they're going to work on. Reaching out in so many ways. Social justice, environmental action, helping families, helping the Zen Center even, doing what they can, sitting more, being determined to realize the way. Wow, that's a big one. So there's another Zen teacher at that same time that Hakuin didn't really like. He didn't get along with him. And his name is Bankei. I won't go into a lot about Bankei, just a little bit of it. Bankei is a person who is known for bringing us the words, the unborn, referring to the absolute. And Hakuin didn't like that. Hakuin says, oh, it's do nothing Zen. I'm not doing that. but both of these two great teachers brought us what we have now. We have both. We have great doubt. We have great faith. If faith there is an unborn, yeah? I do. And when we bring great doubt and great faith together, we have determination. that's really what we need. We big time need that. We need it to get through this session in one piece. So I hope that some of what I had to say moves you, is helpful. You can ignore anything else that isn't. I'm not attached to it. It's just something I wanted to share today.